Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. Today is actually a very special topic. We are going to talk about comparison from a mother's perspective. And that's me. I'm a mother. And this is really what I would teach my daughter, based off of my experience from, about comparing. So I want to talk about our first point. So we're in this video, we're going to kind of go through our points. So there are going to be at least 3 points in this video, and I'm gonna just go through all of them and talk about the sub points of each one. So the first point is, and I have my handy journal with me, my beautiful rainbow, how can I call it, tie-dye rainbow journal here. And we are going to talk about why comparison destroys your confidence. So, why does comparison destroy us internally, mentally, even physically at times, because we can have depression from comparison. And as a result, we won't take care of ourselves and our needs. It can even go that far. I'm serious. So, with the first sub point of this point, I would say subconsciously or consciously, you believe your efforts are not good enough. So, for instance, let me explain, let me give you an example. You think that, like, when you compare yourself with someone, you think that everything that you have done or accomplished up to that point is nothing compared to that person. And we got to stop thinking like this. We really do. But I don't want to really get into that right now. I'm going to get into that later in the video. I just really want to kind of focus on why we do that. So, say for instance, I used to do this all the time. I would go on social media and I would look at all the top influencers, people influencing people. They influence you. And I just would be like, I would just compare all the time. I would be like, oh my God, my life is not like hers. Oh my God, she looks so amazing. She's so, thin, whether or not I would compare my body to an influencer. I would compare my life, my life situation. Oh, that she has a wonderful, beautiful house, gorgeous apartment, expensive luxury car, not realizing that that's on the surface. That's that could not be reality in a sense, when we look at different people. And now that I look back on it and I look back on how I compared myself to other people, other women, I think it's silly how I did that because I remember watching this video of this lady and she was exposing different influencers and how they don't actually have what you think they have. It's all a facade or a scandal in a sense. And not to say some influencers don't, not to say that they don't have what they're actually showing on their social media, but she said all that to say is not all of them are, living these not all of them are living like this lavish luxury lifestyle that you think they are. Sometimes it's, pretend, as she would say. So basically, she was saying that some influencers get a lot of things for free. And this is true. A lot of times, if they have a large following, they have a certain amount of subscribers on YouTube, maybe they're on another platform like TikTok or what have you. A lot of times, companies and brands will risk, you know, will take a chance on them. and they will give them free products expecting there to be a return in revenue into their business. So, say for instance, maybe this influencer wanted a expensive camera from this brand. The brand will send them this camera, seeing the following that they have, and they, in expecting, okay, well, she's going to use our camera, on this vacation trip to this luxury place or whatever luxurious place, and our camera is going to be seen. She's going to talk about our camera in her video, and we might make some sales because she has such a large following. So that's what they do. They don't actually buy a lot of the things that they have. They are getting free stuff all the time. And I found out that this is actually true. I was watching one of my favorite influencers, and his name is Raquez Bowen. And he's an awesome model, by the way. You got to check out his channel. And I was looking at one of his videos, he was vlogging, and he actually said that he gets free stuff all the time. So they don't actually buy a lot of the stuff that they get. A lot of that stuff is free. And so looking back on it now, I look at myself and I'd say, "Oh my God, that was so funny how I was comparing myself to this person who had this and who had that, because that probably was something that they got free." They probably didn't even buy. So they probably wouldn't even live in the high life like that. You know what I mean? So you have to, just because someone appears to be something, that doesn't mean that they are that, or that doesn't mean that they actually have that. But they could have it, but still in all, just keep that in mind. So that's one thing. Stop comparing your efforts to their efforts. You don't know what this person has. You don't know what they did to get there. You don't know how they got what they got. So don't compare yourself to their, don't do that. Always celebrate yourself. Be proud of your efforts up until now. Always be proud of yourself. Be grateful for what you have, and don't compare yourself in that way. So that's the first thing I'd say. I say one of the reasons why we let that comparison destroy us is that we always believe that our efforts are not good enough, compared to the next person's efforts. And that's not true. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, you don't know how they got what they got. You don't know how they got there. You don't know the story behind it. So don't ever do that. Always hold yourself with high regard and be grateful for what you have. So that's the first thing. The second sub point would be false belief compared to reality. So you are under this false assumption that you are not good enough. And that can become a reality in a sense if you let it. And it's not reality. A lot of times we believe that we're something and we're not. Like, for example, what's a good way to explain this? You may not believe that you are a beautiful person, but in actual reality, you are beautiful. Let's say you have beautiful, gorgeous skin, you have a gorgeous face, beautiful features, everything. Even inside, you're beautiful, but you don't believe it. And that's a false assumption, because even outwardly, even though you're outwardly beautiful and inwardly beautiful, you don't believe it. And that's a false assumption. So you shouldn't do that. Um, that's one of the things that really really holds us back when it comes to comparison. We have these false beliefs, and that destroys our confidence when we are making false assumptions about ourselves. We have all of this doubt that's flooding our mind, and making things misty in a sense, where we get confused. So that's another thing. I always did that in the past. Like, I always would come up with these false assumptions about myself. I would say, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or "Who am I to do this?" or "Why does it have to be me?" And it's just so bad. Like, I look back, like I said, I look back on it now. It sounds crazy, but that's literally what I would do all the time. But so, let's get to the third sub point. The third sub point is anxious. I noticed that One of the cons about my generation is that we are anxious all the time. We have like this urge to get things done and see instant gratification. I mean, we're it's just like we're so anxious for things to happen. We want things to be spontaneous in a sense. We want instant things to happen. I want this to happen now. Everything. It seems like we are so caught up in that. And in a sense, that can be scarcity, survival mode. That creates survival mode because if you're constantly anxious about something, scared that this is not going to happen, scared that this might happen, you are going into what we call survival mode. You are in also scarcity mode, because you believe like, oh, if this doesn't happen, I'm not going to have this or I'm not going to have that. And that can really bring on comparison because if you feel like you're running out of time compared to somebody else, that can really stunt you in life. Like you may feel like you may see an influencer that's younger than you that's supposed to be this like millionaire at 22. They always have those Ferrari cars on the YouTube commercials and all that kind of stuff. Is what I've seen before. And if you compare yourself to that, you're like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. I'm old. They're younger than me and they're a millionaire and they have this amazing successful business and they're younger than me. You know, that's anxiousness. And it's okay to be a little anxiousness because sometimes anxiousness can create excitement. Oh, I'm so anxious to do this. I'm so excited to do this. So that's not as bad. But when you are anxious, like I said, it brings on this sense of spontaneous feeling. It puts you in a rush to do things, and you don't have to rush. You can just relax and sit back and let the universe work and let God do its power, which is the universe. Um, and that'll take you out of scarcity mode and put you in a free flowing mode and not worry about things. So that's a big, big, big thing. Anxiousness. I feel like people, when they talk about comparison here on YouTube and other platforms, they don't really talk about anxiousness. And anxiousness is a big thing when it comes to comparison. Like we always really think about it like when you compare yourself, observe it. Haven't you noticed that you have like this anxious feeling like you're not doing something and you should be doing it? Because when you compare yourself to somebody's life, you're like, oh my God, they have this already and they've done it and I haven't done it already. So I need to hurry up and do it now. You see what I'm saying? It's like an anxious feeling. And like I said, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people on different platforms, they don't talk about this when they talk about comparison. So that's number 3 sub point, anxiousness. So let's get into the second main topic of comparison. So we talked about why comparison destroys your confidence with those 3 sub points. We're going to talk about how to avoid the energy of comparison, which is probably my favorite part of this video. Leveling up is probably the best way to beat comparison, and here's why. When you see someone that is living a quote unquote good life, in your opinion, or living the life that you probably desire or want, you you should not feel a sense of comparison or jealousy, even because that's jealousy and comparison go hand in hand, and envy and all of that. What I want you to do is think about how you could level up in the same way. Because if you're looking at this person and you are desiring what they have and you're comparing yourself to this situation, stop 1 minute and stop comparing yourself and look at them and just admire what they have at that moment and say, oh my God, this person is inspiring me. And I feel really motivated right now to just do the same thing and get busy. And that's a great way to not be anxious about it or act in a spontaneous way. Give yourself time to level up. Start taking it one day at a time and just trying to figure out, how you could level up in the same way, because there must be something that you really admire about this person to the point where you try to compare yourself, or because if you like the things that they have and they seem to be very successful, you may be attracted to that success, or you may be inspired by that success. So that's really what you need to get into. Get out of comparison mode and get into inspiration mode. When you see them, look at them and say, oh my God, this is an amazing person. They are so successful. They are inspiring me to be successful like them. And so as a result, I'm going to take the time to level up. And that's what you do. Take your time. Don't be so anxious to level up. Take your time and level up. And it works. Whenever we take our time and not procrastinate, because that's the main thing too. Don't procrastinate. And I talked about that on my other video, which is don't hold back on your dreams. Check that out if you haven't watched it already. It'll probably be here somewhere up here on the screen. Anyway, leveling up is one of the best ways to avoid the energy of comparison. It really is. When you take the time and you start to glow up and level up, you feel so much good. You feel so good inside. And it really, really helps. And I promise you it will go away, because I did this. I am living proof of it. I saw a person that I did compare myself to, I will admit. But then I started kind of looking at it in a different way, from a different perspective. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to compare myself to this person. I'm going to look at them and be inspired by them, because this person really does inspire me. This person is doing the things that I want to do, but I haven't done yet. So I'm going to take the time and learn for myself on how to do those things and level up and glow up for myself. And that's what I did. This person has a really, really great body. And at the time, I was like 200 some pounds. And that was another thing. I lost about a little over 40 pounds. And now I'm like almost to my dream weight, because right now I'm 157 and I'm almost 150, which is my dream weight. So now I don't compare myself to that person anymore, because guess what? I took the time to level up and get on the same page as they have. And I did. Now I love my body. Whenever I look inside the mirror, it just looks so amazing, because I did the work in order to get my body to look the way it does. And it looks great. Now I'm focusing on toning my arms a little bit, toning my stomach and everything else. But in actuality, I've achieved my goal. I've leveled up and I've glowed up. So you can do the same thing. Stop comparing and level up. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So, what is our next sub point? The second sub point is change your perspective. So, like I said, when we change our perspective, we see things from a whole different light, from a different light. We see things differently. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you if you see somebody that has something that you desire and you become jealous, like you're like, oh my God, why do they have it and I don't? It's not fair. God doesn't love me. You come up with all of these different doubts in your mind. Maybe I'm not good enough to have it. But what if you changed that perspective and said, oh my God, like they have what I want and they are so successful in life and they're doing so well. I could have that too. It's possible because they have it. Like, what makes me different than them? Nothing. So that means I can have it too. See how that works? It instantly makes you a positive person. It instantly puts them it instantly kind of, how am I trying to say this? It kind of puts you on their team too, in a sense, because it's almost like you're their cheerleader, but in such a healthy way, but in a good way. Because have you ever heard the saying where it always says, well, how does it go? if you can't beat them, join them. I love that saying. I think it's, some people may say, "Oh, why did you use that saying?" But no, but I feel like it is that because if you can't beat them, join them. But it's not about beating them, but it's the point about being inspired by them. You know what I mean? Instead of being so negative, instead of being jealous of them, you should be inspired by them. You should turn your jealousy or your envy or your comparison into inspiration, like I said before. And like I said, changing your perspective will really help you do that. And it'll help you become a good person in that sense as well, because what you put out is what you get. You put out jealousy, you're going to get jealousy back. You're going to get, hatred or whatever back. So you don't want to put out jealousy. You want to put out happiness, inspiration, proud, all of these great things. And, you don't want to put anything that's terrible out into the universe. So you always want to say, this person is beautiful, this person is gorgeous. So that can come back to you because somebody will do the same thing to you. They'll say, oh, this person is gorgeous, this person is beautiful. I'm inspired by Zari. She's amazing. I want to do that. I want to do what she's doing. You see what I'm saying? So change the perspective and you'll get a different outcome. All right. All right. And so sorry, I had to grab something to eat. I was a little hungry. I tend to fast until 12 or 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. and I'd be so hungry. Sorry, you guys. I have to eat this a little bit. Did not mean to turn this into a mukbang. Hold on just a second. These are good too. Love noodles. So anyway, listen to the ego. Listen to what your ego wants. So your ego is the voice in your head that's really kind of telling you these things, these negative things, or these doubts that occur or pop up in your mind or come from the ego. So essentially, the ego is saying to you and telling you what it wants. So if you ever see something like I was saying with the example with the lady with the perfect body, let's say you are on the heavier side and you want to lose weight and you see someone with a beautiful body, somebody that you look up to, you want to do the same thing. You want to get into the gym. You want to have that amazing, great body. But when you see this person makes you insecure in a sense. You start to compare yourself. You start to compare. Um, and even though let's say you've lost some weight, but if you see them, they make you feel bad because in your mind, you believe that your efforts to lose weight doesn't compare to them. You see what I'm saying? That's how comparison starts. You probably say in your mind, oh, I've lost a few pounds, but oh my God, look at her. She's already there. Her body is amazing. She doesn't have to lose weight anymore because she's already done the work to get there. You see what I'm saying? So in your mind, I want you to observe those thoughts that I just said. If you're saying something similar to that in that scenario, observe those thoughts and say to yourself, oh my goodness, my ego is telling me that I need to put in the work just like she did. I need to go to the gym just like she does in order to achieve this body goal that I have. You see? So the ego is telling you what you should do. Didn't I just say that a few minutes ago when I did the example? I said to myself about the scenario, oh my God, she put in so much work and her body looks better than mine. That's the ego telling you that you need to put in work. You see what I'm saying? So the ego is really telling you what you should do and what you should not do. It's guiding you in a sense. So don't be afraid of your ego. Listen to it because it will help you. Just like if you saw a house that somebody had, or a luxury apartment that somebody had and you really, really wanted it, the ego is telling you strive for it. If the ego is saying, giving you these negative thoughts, subconsciously, internally, this is something that you really want. You may want a luxury condo, but you feel like you can't have it, but you can. You just have to do the work to get it. Research online, look at different loans, house loans, different things that you can, find resources in order to get what you want or what you desire. It's possible. Anything is possible. If you can see it, and if you see someone else have it, and you can see it, and they have achieved it, they've gained success from it, you can have it too. I mean, what makes them different than you? You see what I'm saying? So listen to the ego, because you will find out a lot of things about yourself by listening to it. So that's the end of the points for how to avoid the energy of comparison. I think I really covered some really great points with that one. The third main point would be beat comparison and win. And this is a really, really, really great topic. And I'm just so excited about it. And I just love my news. Just look at that. Oh my God. I'm just so, they're so good. They're so good. They're so good, you guys. The first sub point of this comparison topic, and this is going to be the last. So beat comparison and win is going to be the last main topic of comparison, and then we'll go ahead and kind of like wrap up the video. So the first sub point is practice the points before. So level up, change your perspective, listen to the ego and what it wants. Those are the 3 points that you really, really need to practice in order to beat comparison. And I promise you will start to see a change, because I saw a change. Now I really don't get triggered or start comparing myself, or start comparing myself to other people, because I've done the work on myself and I've actually done the inner work as well. That's another thing. Inner work helps, but I'll talk about that in a different video. I'll probably do like a part 2 to this video, or just do another video entirely, because I plan on kind of making this a series. This is kind of like an inner work series anyway, on my channel. But practicing those things really, really helped me get over comparison. Because now, like I said, when I see someone that I'm kind of that probably would have triggered me in the past, or I probably would have started comparing myself to, I don't get jealous, I don't get envious, I don't start comparing. It goes completely out of my mind, and I actually have an appreciation of what they do. I say, this is a successful person. Oh my God, they look so amazing. Great for them. I hope that they still stay successful. So I'm honestly very happy for them. And it feels so good to feel like that about somebody. You don't want to feel down or start comparing yourself whenever you see somebody that has success. That's not right. That's not good. You want to feel good inside. You want to start saying, oh my God, this is amazing. I am inspired by this person. This is amazing. So these things, those 3 things are going to definitely help you. So practice makes perfect. Well, perfect practice makes perfect. is what some people may say. But yes, practice those 3 points, the ones that I talked about before, and you will be successful at beating comparison, and you will win. Okay, so the second sub point would be evaluate your reasons. So think about it, you know, um, evaluate things, kind of observe things for what they are. Like I said, observe your thoughts, evaluate your thoughts. You're going to want to always evaluate your thoughts, because when you don't, you're in this constant depression mode, or you're in this sadness mode, and you're not evaluating your thoughts. Because you need to learn how to evaluate your thoughts, evaluate your reasons, so you can catch them right then and there at the moment and say, oh no, wait a minute, this is me comparing myself, this is me being jealous, this is me being envious. No, I refuse to be this way. This is not me. Goodbye. You see how that works? That's why we always need to journal, always practice on our inner work, always seek counseling, because it really helps us evaluate things and see them for what they really are and work to get rid of them. So evaluation is key. Observing is key. So those are the main things. Observe and evaluate your reasons behind things, and your thoughts. Observe them, evaluate them, because you're going to know, is this a jealousy thought? Is this a comparison thought? Is this an envious thought? I don't want this in my mind. It's time to switch to the inspiration mode. It's time to switch to the motivation mode and say, this person is inspiring me. You see how that works? So yeah, evaluation, definitely key. Third thing, and I feel like this is, if you didn't learn anything, if you did not learn anything from this video, or you did not take away much from it, this is something that I wish that you will take away from it, because this is going to be the main thing over all the points: gratitude. And I know you don't want to hear that, because so many people say it. They're like, oh, be grateful, be, but they don't really tell you why. You have to be grateful and have gratitude, because everyone's, someone else always has it worse. Someone else always has it. Someone else is probably always, someone else has a, probably has a worse situation than you. Let's put it that way. So sorry I stalled on that. Sometimes I can get way too caught up in talking. Anyway, someone else has it probably worse than you. You know what I mean? And another thing is too, why wouldn't you be grateful for what you have? I see a lot of people doing that. They're not grateful for what they have. And that's one thing I had to do when I was comparing myself. Like, for example, when I got this apartment, I just was so overjoyed, because this is my first apartment, had never really lived on my own before, always lived with other people, and it was not fun doing that. I hate living with other people. I love being by myself now, and I was just so grateful for this apartment. It was so funny how I would wake up every morning and I would be like, oh my God, I'm in a dream. And some people may look at my apartment and they're like, it's small, it's not all that. But to me, when I first got this apartment, it was like the greatest thing of all time, because I had never had one. And I have my car, I got my apartment, so I felt so independent and amazing. I was like, I'm an independent woman. Oh, yay. But anyway, I just felt so grateful. And even when I would go outside, my trash can would get filled up, and I would, tie my trash up and bring it outside to bring to the dumpster outside, at the apartment complex. And I would say, oh my God, like, I have my own apartment. Like, what? This is so unreal. You know what I mean? It just would feel so good. I don't know. Even now, it's just so surreal. But one time I started to kind of like compare. I saw this other person, they had this like amazing hold on. No. Yes, I started to compare when I saw someone else who had a luxury apartment, and I was like, oh my God, look at their apartment. And I'm sorry, my daughter is playing in the background, but I would say, so sorry, you guys. No, Soraya, no, you're getting away in my video. I see you. I see you. Yes, I started to compare myself to this person who had this luxury apartment, and but then I had to take a seat back and I had to say, wait a minute, I love my apartment. I'm grateful for what I have. So why am I comparing myself to them? You see what I'm saying? And that's how you stop it, you know? You evaluate your thoughts. You think about what you're saying and you feel grateful for what you have. So all of these things help you. So I hope that you use them because I know that once you utilize these points and everything that I talked about in this video, you will be on your way to a comparison free life. So, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm so glad that I could help you, with your inner work journey and everything else. Be sure to check out all the links that I have in my description box. Check out my website, check out my course, and my new upcoming book. So excited about that. That will be released on Mother's Day. Cannot wait for you to check it out. I absolutely cannot wait for you to check it out. So, yes, goodbye, you all, and have a wonderful, lovely day.